Hello, everybody. Welcome to Season 5. Season 5 of Mission Control. Mission Control is a podcast focusing on executive directors and nonprofit leaders and how they strive to make positive impacts in their community. I'm your host, Paul J. Schmidt, owner and creative video strategist for UnoDeuce Multimedia. And I am with a good friend of mine, executive director and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters Capital Region, Megyn Forest. Hey, Megyn, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is awesome. It's been a little bit of a while to. I was like, oh, I haven't had Megyn on the show yet. This is great.
Yeah, very exciting. Thank you.
So talk to me a little bit about. Well, actually, let's just start how I normally start, seeing as this is the season 5 opener. But I always start with asking folks, what is your mission? Seeing as the name of the show is Mission Control. So what is the mission of Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Yeah. Big Brothers Big Sisters believes in the inherent potential of every child in our community, and we help develop that potential. We don't give them anything they don't already have, but we help develop potential through mentorship. Creating one-to-one friendships that we professionally support for as long as they're enrolled in our program. And many of our friendships last long after a child's not enrolled in our program anymore because they've aged out or graduated high school. So our mission is just that. We create mentorships and support lifelong friendships.
That's awesome. And speaking of which, lifelong friendships, is there a connection to you with Big Brothers and Big Sisters prior to actually working for them?
Yeah. So 100 years ago, I was a big sister in Kalamazoo's program where I'm originally from. And I started with our site-based program, which is where mentors go to the school and meet with their little 30 minutes to an hour a day. So every Wednesday at noon, I would call and make sure my girl was there. And I would go to the middle school, which was about 5 minutes from the hospital where I worked, and we would visit all school year. And then we started to develop such a great friendship. And from there, we started meeting out in the community and transferred into our community-based program where I was able to pick her up and go for pizza. She loved Jimmy John's, so we'd always go get sandwiches and hang out. I'm still in contact with her today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just texted her yesterday. I haven't gotten a response back, but her birthday's in mid-April, so I always keep in touch with her, certainly around her birthday. So
that's amazing.
So much.
So how long have you been doing this with her or been her big sister?
So I was her big sister for 2 years, and then she moved out of the service area for that Big Brothers Big Sisters agency, and we just kept touch individually after that. So I was only in the program with her for 2 years through the school year, and then another year with our community program. And then when she moved, I kept in touch.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it always comes back around. And that's something I hear from people all the time. Maybe their mom or their aunt was a big or a little. And those are memories that come out of the woodworks when I'm talking to people. That impact never goes away. I never thought in a million years I'd be in this position with Big Brothers Big Sisters and talking about my experience with the program and how it's impacted me. And so I love seeing, these stories out in the community where that impact truly lasts a lifetime for the big and the little. A lot of our bigs don't realize that they get a lot out of it too. It's just that service component and just being there for someone is just really special. You can't recreate it. I love it.
No, you can't recreate it. And so, well, I mean, where is this little at right now in like the school age realm?
She turns 20 in April, so she's grown.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. And it turns well, what's really cool is like the mentorship component. The fact of the matter is you're a big at one point, but that you continue that mentorship and friendship well beyond. Yeah, I think that's really crucial. I think more and more people need to have. I mean, I didn't have a true mentor, what I would consider a mentor, until I was well into my 30s.
Same.
And so yeah, it's just like, And I think that having more of access to that, I think is really crucial. But, I mean, we can talk big brothers, big sisters all day, but I want to learn more about Megyn. And so, and what brought you into this role. And I was looking at some of the experiences that you've had, and you really didn't start out with you started like in a situation where it was like injury prevention. You have a long history of injury prevention. Can you talk a little bit about that? What is that all about?
Yeah, so I have a really really interesting roundabout way of getting where I'm at. I have worked in social services and nonprofits my entire career. But yeah, I worked for Borges Hospital in Kalamazoo for 11 years. So I started as a lifeguard right out of high school, and then started teaching swim lessons and then water aerobics, and then thought my calling was in healthcare administration. And my bachelor's is in healthcare administration. And from there, I worked with the trauma department with Borges. And that's where that injury prevention came around. Loved it. What I did was I had about 30 different high schools that I would go and present to on concussion prevention and education, safe driving, making safe choices. So being in the classroom, working with students of all ages, middle school was the most fun, I thought. You never knew what you were going to get. Great questions. So working with the students and just having real honest communication, I loved it. So yeah, I was injury prevention coordinator and educator. And I would say that is certainly where my public speaking experience started. High school's a tough crowd. And so being able to connect with individuals of all ages and not just stand up there and talk at someone, but have a real conversation is truly where my passion started, with getting to know people as individuals and how people work and interact is just fascinating to me. And so that's truly where my interest in leading and connecting with people truly started. I haven't talked about this in so long. I'm glad you brought it up.
No, I mean, I was just like, and I'm not stalking you per se, but just like I was just looking at some of your LinkedIn. I was like, well, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. I got a lot in there.
We've never talked about that aspect, and so healthcare was really your entry into the nonprofit world, and you said that you were going to be a healthcare administrator of some sort. So what was it that drew you into that area specifically at that point?
Truly working for the hospital for so long and having so many connections and volunteer opportunities, the administration piece, and I do a lot of admin now in my current role, was fascinating for me. The public policy and the procedures and supporting people through those procedures was really interesting to me. From injury prevention is where I really dove into working with the underserved populations when I moved to Head Start. I'm still in contact with a lot of my Head Start administrators and teachers, and that is where I truly found my passion, which eventually brought me here. But yeah, that's where my nonprofit passion started. And that's why I furthered my education and got my master's in nonprofit leadership.
And where did you get your master's in nonprofit leadership?
Western. I went to Western for undergrad and Western. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. That was a pointed question. That was for me. So anyhow, that's really cool. It's interesting. And you worked in for the RISA there, which is superb. It's such a superb program.
Yeah, such a great community. Great people work there. I loved it.
And I'm sorry, you said what did you do exactly? The Head Start program?
I did. I was the health coordinator. Okay. So still doing health at that point, but really found my calling with health when I was with Head Start was more about access and more about availability. And that's when my eyes just opened to underserved populations. When I'm in classrooms, I had about 600 kiddos at the time in 30 something classrooms I'd visit. So I was coordinating vision screens and hearing screens and hemoglobin checks. And what I was finding, the more and more I interacted with the family advocates and the parents, there was much bigger issue regarding healthcare access and education. And that just really opened my eyes to it's a much bigger issue and definitely a calling that I wanted to further my education on.
Amazing. I think that's really cool that you were able to lateral your health. It's almost like a cool transition point to move from the healthcare world, shifting to health and in an adjacent nonprofit capacity. But one of the things I also noticed is like you spent a lot of time on some boards, different boards, whether you're just a board member or whatever. But talk to me about your experience on those different boards and what you learned in that aspect.
Yeah. Not every board is the same. I'm active on a couple boards now, and again, not every board is the same. And so I do have a lot of board service, and I think something that I've learned is while board service may look good on a resume or used as a resume builder, me with my calling and how I want to use my time and services, knowing exactly how the board functions, what the bylaws are, what the time commitment is because I can't just show up and then scoot out when the meeting's over. I want to participate and I want to share and learn and really support in ways that I can. So that's something that I learned is asking a lot of questions up front and really using my skill set, how it may best serve the board and that agency.
Okay. And so I think that's really helpful, not just in the form of, learning as you're going throughout, the start and stop of your nonprofit career, but also understanding what the each board, like you said, each board is a bit different, and understanding that aspect and being able to usher in or help orient new board members that you have to talk to on a regular basis for your boards now. So that's
I think being on so many boards and having that a part of my skill set certainly helps with managing and coordinating my current board with Big Brothers Big Sisters as well. Knowing how I work very well with my board president. It's a 2-person team leading the board and the agency, but knowing how we can be most effective as well, having that experience.
Yeah. So what was the biggest takeaway from your time with the Kalamazoo RISA?
Biggest takeaway? Oh gosh, so many takeaways. So I was with Head Start with the RISA for 4 wonderful years, and I was sad when I left. Of course, I'm still in contact with everyone. Like I said, this position where I'm at now was a calling that I had to jump on. What did I learn most? People are people are people. Whether you're 3 and in Head Start, or you're a parent doing your best, or you're a teacher doing your best, there's always something you can learn from someone, and everyone's story is different. And there's always a puzzle piece that you have no idea about, and you're never going to know because it's none of your business. And treating people with dignity and kindness and compassion it's universal. It should be universal. And so my eyes really opened to a lot of circumstances and supporting people in ways I hadn't had the opportunity to yet. And so I always have that in the back of my head when I work with maybe our families in our program, or certainly my staff, treating people with that moral compass first and just listening. You learn so much when you listen and observe. And that's something that I work on personally and professionally as well. So not sure what I learned in a nutshell. People.
No, but I think you're making a very good point, because that is, as a company, as an individual, I've always been a listener first. Obviously, due to occupational norms, because you don't want to hear my voice in the middle of an interview. You know, and so it's one of those things where it's like, ask a question, be quiet, listen to what's being said, and don't wait for the natural stopping point before you move on, because you never know what the next sentence would be, and you don't want to talk through that. So I think that's a huge leadership tip for anyone around you. You know, it's like, listen first.
Listen first.
Absolutely.
And language is very important, and how you say things and what you say. And my staff will often hear me say, tell me more, because I'm curious, or I want to learn more. We did an exercise one time. This is a little off topic, but kind of on topic. We did an icebreaker one time that has turned into one of our onboarding activities, and it's 4 quadrants, and it says, you get the best of me when, you get the worst of me when, what I need from you is, and what you can count on me for. And it was beautiful, the answers that we got from staff. And my section is, what I need is time to listen, digest, think of the best way forward. And it's really helped with staff. A lot of times, especially just in life in general, we want that instant gratification, right? We want answers now. And for me, and just how I function, is just listening and taking my time and making sure I'm thinking about all of the options. It's really helped. And it also has helped me learn from others as well. We had a staff member that, you get the best of me when I'm hungry. I get it. Or you get the worst of me when I'm hungry. I get it. So it's a lighthearted as well way to have that blueprint for working with people. Because people are people, you know? So that's been really helpful. And
I'm sorry, but where did you find that? Where did you find that exercise?
I have no idea. We've used it for a few years now. I have the link. I can share it with you and let you know. But
That's fair.
Off the top of my head, I have no idea.
That's okay. Okay, so you know what? Since we've talked a little bit about your time here, let's talk about your transition to Big Brothers and Big Sisters. How did you hear about this posting? What were your thoughts about moving away from your hometown? All that stuff, because it's more than just accepting a position. You're being asked to move, or you're deciding to move.
Yeah. So I started this role in early 2021. So it was shortly after COVID. My first baby was born March 2020. So right when everything shut down, and after maternity leave and going back to Head Start, that was also when my brain started to shift from health, and I wanted to do more, and I want to give back differently. And so I was looking for anything, something to come up that really sparked my interest. And then I saw this posting and instantly was thinking about my past little and how I'd love to give back and how my skill sets and degrees aligned perfectly. So it was one of those opportunities where I'm like, well, I just got to find out what happens next. So I applied. I commuted for about a year, twice a week, from Kalamazoo to Lansing while we were house hunting. My son was just a little guy then. So once we found a place to live in Lansing, then we packed up and moved, and we've been here ever since. Since then, I had another little baby. She's 2 now, and I have another one on the way in September. So while I'm a Lansing transplant, I've got at least 2 kiddos who were born here, and they love it. We probably lived in town for, 5 minutes before Peter comes back from school saying, go green, go white. So I will start him young around here, but it's been really great. I have loved the community and loved the people I work with, and I call Lansing home now, and I love it. I'm proud of it.
That's not far off from mine, although I didn't have a child to transplant across the state. Yeah. So, but you felt like you adjusted pretty well, pretty quickly.
Yeah. I have said it a million times, but throughout the entire interview process and onboarding process, and even till today, I have felt fully supported by my board and the people that have become mentors of mine as well. So while it was a big move, it was very supported. So that also goes back to board service, right? It's really important to have a good board and feel supported, because I know not everyone in leadership has that support, which is unfortunate, but a reality for a lot of people. So I feel very grateful.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So when you got here, like you said, you joined Big Brothers, Big Sisters in 21. So it's coming, well, the pandemic is kind of like still happening, but at the same time coming out of it. But
Yep.
what was the biggest thing you had to tackle other than that aspect right off the bat? What was the one thing you were like, you know what, this is what I really have to focus on first?
I think in any new role, especially in leadership, whether you say it or not, there's a little bit of imposter syndrome, being the new fish in the sea at any new job. I'm grateful for the experience I've had, because it made me a stronger leader and it's made my team stronger where we're at now. But really navigating going back to work from working remotely for so long, or, I mean, there were staff and even board members that I worked with for months before I even met them in real life. And so that was a new experience for me to navigate, which isn't so much anymore. We operate on a hybrid schedule, which is great. It works for us, but I would say that would be the main thing. Is it was very challenging at times to get to know my staff and my team, because I wasn't physically with them. So I think that was my first challenge.
Okay. That's so what was, how you said you went hybrid, you're working with a new team, we're a new board. What were some of the things that you had to implement to try to create this cohesiveness that you're seeing today? What are the things that you really tackled to create glue between all the people that may have been a little disparate throughout the pandemic?
Check-ins, weekly check-ins, and we still have it with staff. My schedule fills up quickly, as anyone's does, but with each person on my team, including my board president, not my full board, I have an hour on my calendar every week to talk. We don't always use the hour. We don't always talk about work. Maybe it's work, maybe it's talking about your cat, whatever it may be, but it's an hour every week to sit and chat, whether it's remotely or in person. I prefer in person, you know me enough. But that is time to sit and just connect in ways that's not just work constantly. And I think that's helped build relationships in my team. And I encourage my team to do it as well.
No, I think that's really good. I mean, as you know me, I'm like a face-to-face type of person. I know this is odd, us doing this virtual, but our podcast situation isn't quite where I want it just yet. So I was like, we might have to do this virtually.
Totally fine. We're making it work.
Yeah. But no, I think that's really key lesson right there, is to make sure that you do have to interact regardless of where you are. You have to check in with your people.
We had two, won't use names. We had two employees who just weren't totally getting along. They had some miscommunication, and I can't micromanage a relationship. I can give you some tools, I can give you some guidance, but it's up to you to figure it out. And I said, go out for coffee. And they're both like, what? I'm like, well, you guys really know each other, do you? And they're like, well, not really. I'm like, there you go out for coffee, figure it out, talk about it.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, if it could fit in there, I think coffee would be one of my love languages.
Yeah. We just didn't know each other. You don't know what really irks someone unless you ask them, or, it doesn't happen overnight. And I think that's why those weekly check-ins is good. It's building a relationship, right? Bringing it back to our program, a profound lifelong relationship doesn't happen overnight. It's that consistency. It's those check-ins. It's that giving time after time after time, even if it's 5 minutes of your time, you're building those relationships.
Yeah. No, that makes a whole lot of sense. So real quickly, what are some big plans that you have coming up for Big Brothers Big Sisters, without putting a date to it? What are some big plans that you have?
The biggest plan coming up, or at least that we're already planning for, and I can't give you a date, but our annual 5K. So this will be our 5th year doing our 5K. First year, we had about 36 participants, board members, staff, family members I bribed mainly. And we're up to over 200 runners in our 5th year. And it's become one of our major fundraisers. It's a lot of fun. So that is in October. So I would say that's our biggest event coming up for sure. It's live on Run Sign Up. You can check us out. It will be October 12th. It's become a really fun team project. So every team member has some sort of planning component and they're loving it. My favorite part is the kids run, seeing kids trip on their tails and their wheels, doing their course. It's so much fun.
And I know that, and I've seen it firsthand, and it is a lot of fun. It's a good time, even though I know people are like, that's early. It doesn't matter. It's good stuff.
It's worth it. And we have lucked out. I'm going to jinx it now, knocking on wood. We've had beautiful weather every single year.
Very, 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 very true. So the big question I have for you as we close this out is, you're doing all this stuff. You're leading your team. You're doing all these big plans and situations like that. But what do you do to kind of like decompress, to kind of escape? What does Megyn do when she's not Megyn the CEO, but Megyn outside of that?
Yeah. I work a lot. And I work long hours here and there, but I have a very healthy work-life harmony. It's not balanced, and it's not always the same. So I'll use harmony. I joke around, but I think I mean it honestly, that I am a better mom when I'm a better CEO. So being able to come to work and buckle down and feel very productive and lead an amazing team, and then check out when my kids need to be picked up from daycare. It helps me kind of separate the two. And when I'm home and with my kids, I'm home and with my kids. So I would say that's how I decompress. It's just having really good harmony and checking out and needing to mom when I need to mom and needing to work when I need to work. Like I said, it's not always balanced. Sometimes I have to do both at the same time because I'm a human. But I know that that's not baseline. And I support my team doing that as well. Yeah.
That's huge. And I like that phrase, work-life harmony, because I think it's a better descriptor, and it's less, I don't know, it's less like final. It's more like more malleable. I think that's much better descriptor of how people's lives are today, in today's day and age.
Yeah, ebbs and flows. We're all just doing the best we can.
Exactly. So, Megyn, for anybody who wants to learn more from your wisdom of work-life harmony and all the other things that you mentioned through your extensive experience within the nonprofit realm, what is the best way that people can get a hold of you?
Best way, and I'm happy to talk anything and everything, I'm an open book, is email, firstname.lastname@bbbsmcr.org.
Nice. And thank you very much for joining and being the first guest in season 5.
Yay, thanks for having me. It's just been fun.
All right, excellent. And thank you all once again for taking some time to listen to our program. And don't miss the next episode coming out in a couple weeks. If there's someone that you know of that you would like to hear about their journey, please email us at missioncontrol@unodeuce.com And if this is your first time here, please subscribe and on YouTube or your favorite podcasting platform and give us a positive review. Thank you very, very much. And we'll see you next time in the control center.